Am I the arsehole for telling a student I don't care? I teach 7th grade at a Catholic school. I don't teach all their classes, but I do teach math, religion, English, and social studies to my class. I have this student that I'll call Chrissy. She is a handful. She's a smart girl and usually does well on tests, but she is extremely dramatic. I have been having a lot of issues with her when it comes to late assignments. I do accept late work, but 10% is taken off each day late until they fail the assignment. Obviously, there are certain circumstances that students can turn in late assignments without penalty. Chrissy has been turning in assignments late all year, and going on some sob story about why she couldn't get it done on time. I have been giving her full credit, but every time my patience is getting thinner. It's, her grandma is sick, so she was visiting in the hospital. Her dog ran away, and she was out all day looking. Her uncle is sick in the hospital, her mum got stuck at work, so she had to spend all day babysitting her siblings, her dad got mad at her, which sparked an anxiety attack, and she couldn't do the homework. You get the picture. These are all excuses that she's used. There's even more. I feel bad as I think she's getting a lot more leeway than the other students. Today we had a pop quiz on a reading assignment from last week. This is a normal thing that we do on Mondays to test who read last week. After the quiz, Chrissy came up to my desk as the rest of the kids head to another class. So the grandma of her best friend growing up passed away. She was having a very rough time, so Chrissy basically spent the entire week with her after school and just couldn't get the reading done. She admitted to probably flunking the pop quiz and wanted to retake it later in the week. I looked at Chrissy, sighed, and just said, "Chrissy, I don't care. You do this all the time. It's not fair to the other students. You have to find a way to get your work done. The excuses are not going to work anymore." She started to tear up and plead with me. I told her if she's really having these serious issues so frequently, we can have her parents come in for a meeting to figure out what we can do. She insisted that wasn't necessary and she can't get her parents involved. I told her that's her only option. Either she gets the work done on time or we sit down with her parents. She left the room while yelling that people like me are the reason her generation has so many mental health problems because we don't understand their struggle. Am I the asshole for how I handled this? I really think I did the best I could.
Am I the asshole for not picking up my kids because my wife brought a dildo into my house? Throwaway because my 32 male, wife, 29 female, and I both frequent Reddit, and I don't want to be in the doghouse more than I am. My wife and I have been married for 7 years and have 2 children together, who are boys 4 and 2. On the 14th, my wife went out shopping, and I assumed it was just normal Christmas shopping, since it's getting to that time of year. She was gone several hours, and the boys were at my mother's house for a few hours, as she lives pretty close. I was planning to go pick them up around dinner time, so I was relaxing until then. I had the day off, and my wife has been a stay-at-home mom since our oldest was born. When she got home from the mall, I asked what she had gotten, and walked over to look through the bags with her. In one of the bags, I saw a dildo, and I can't explain why, but it made me mad. I just didn't want that around my kids. It feels really inappropriate, and if they found it, what then? I told her she had to take it back to the store, and she said they had a no return policy. I said it wasn't even opened, and to at least try, but she wouldn't budge. So I put my foot down and told her that as long as that thing was in the house, our sons would be staying at their grandma's. She thought I was kidding, but I said I was dead serious. She said she'd leave to go get them herself, but I said I'd throw it away while she was out doing that if she did. Then my wife said she wasn't speaking to me until I go get the boys, and she told me to grow up. Now she's giving me the cold shoulder. I think she's the one who has to grow up if she thinks it's appropriate to have a dildo with kids around. I'm firm on this. My mother agrees with me, and the kids have a room there, so they're doing fine. So, am I the asshole?
One night, I was coming home late. A man got on the train. There was only one other person on the train besides this guy and myself. He sits across from me and leans forward. He then proceeds with the typical speech.
"Hey girl, you got a boyfriend?"
For some reason, I decided to engage him in this conversation rather than ignore him. He had crazy eyes and I didn't want to piss him off. His comments became increasingly inappropriate, that is, naming specific sexual acts he would do to me. I had no idea what to say and was starting to become afraid. Thankfully, the other person on the train decided to stand up for me and told him to back off. He told this guy to watch his manners when he spoke to a lady. Then he came and stood by my side until the creepy guy got off the train. I couldn't believe this kid stood up for me though. He was dressed like the typical 18-year-old gangster. He didn't even hit on me once the guy got off. He just said, "I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. There's no reason you should have to deal with that." He told me to be safe and got off at the next stop. That experience definitely proved to me that you shouldn't judge people on something as trivial as their clothing. I got on a mostly empty bus and sat down. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone get up, cross the aisle, and sit down in the seat behind me. Thought that was weird, but put it out of my mind. The bus starts moving. A few minutes later, I feel something brush my side. Look down. The dude who'd moved to sit behind me had reached around my seat to touch me. I turned around and gave him a WTF look. He sat back and muttered a quick apology. I shrugged it off as something odd, resumed staring at the window. Few minutes later, it happens again. I turn around and say loudly, "Keep your hands to yourself." Then I get up and move to a seat in the frontmost row. The bus stops to take on more passengers. Someone sits next to me. I do not look up to see who it is. Then I feel a hand on my knee. I look over and it's the creeper. So I shout, "Keep your hands to yourself." He mutters, "I ain't doing anything. It was an accident." A woman nearby has seen and heard the whole thing. She gets up and starts yelling at the guy. He starts yelling back. Bus driver notices and informs the dude that he'll be getting off at the next stop. Creeper is still shouting at that other lady. She lets him know that she'll be getting off to kick his ass. The driver makes him get off at the next stop. The woman follows. I like to think she beat his ass. She looked like she could have.
Am I the asshole for moving out, taking all my stuff, and not telling my roommates? I am 19 female and live with 3 other girls, 19 to 20, in an apartment on campus. Since it's an apartment on campus, it's a 2-bedroom with 4 people, so everyone shares a room. I share a room with B, C, and D also share a room. Between me and D, we furnished the whole apartment. I want to acknowledge that I am the bitchy roommate. I call everyone out on money, food, and cleaning. I'm a full-time college student and I work 40 hours a week on top of that, but I'm also the one that does the most chores. Since I'm the only one with a job, my roommates expect me to buy everything for the place. Toilet paper, garbage bags, etc., and they get mad that I ask them to pay me their share of. I really enjoy cooking, and it's a huge stress relief for me. For the first month of the semester, we did group groceries and group meals. It was cheaper, and we would be getting better meals. I figured out we could get 2 weeks worth of meals for around $30 to $40 each every 2 weeks. I make the grocery list and cook the meals. After about a month, B and C said they don't want to do group groceries anymore because it's too expensive. I now cook meals for me and D, we shop together and split the cost 50-50. I'm cooking food for me and D still, B and C expect me to make them food. I told them they didn't pay for food, so I'm not making them any. So now they go out to eat and get takeout every night, then complain that they don't have any money. B has a boyfriend. He comes over and spends the night too. I share a room with B. I've asked her to let me know before he comes over. She did for a month, but now she tells no one. He comes over and takes naps in her bed when she's not in the room and I'm trying to do homework. I've asked her not to have him spend the night if I'm intoxicated due to trauma. I woke up after drinking and he was in the room asleep without her. So I did not fall back asleep and was not happy. He comes over all the time now and she doesn't let us know. I'll jump in the shower in the morning when I walk back to my room in just a towel and he'll be sitting on her bed while I try to get dressed. I'm in therapy and because of the pandemic, it's virtual, so I do it from my own room. I can't help it if there is people home, but I've recently figured out that they've been listening to my therapy sessions. I'll talk about things in that session that I don't talk about with anyone else, but somehow C and B will bring it up later that night if it's something about the apartment and them. When I move out, they will have absolutely nothing in the apartment. No pots or pans, couch, a coffee table, a TV stand, all decorations, etc. I already cancelled my housing contract for next semester. It isn't going to be worth $2,000 for me. So I left for 2 weeks, packed up most of my stuff, and then left with it. I only told D that I was leaving for 2 weeks, so B and C have no idea where I am or most of my stuff, and honestly, I'm fine with it. Am I the asshole?
To get something unpredictable, you feel unbelievable. To get something unpredictable, you feel unbelievable. You feel unbelievable. Unbelievable. Burdens on the way, burdens left to repay. No, we can't do all of them at once. You're so good to me, let me be good to you. Step by step we build ourselves strong. All that you say you really keeping up, that's how. Whenever they're passing with you, there can be a bit timing after all the shit that we have been through. I was a mess at times, then took all parts and made them collide until the right ones fell into line. To get something unpredictable, you feel unbelievable. To get something unpredictable, you feel unbelievable. To get something unpredictable, you feel unbelievable. You feel unbelievable. I was a mess at times, and took apart and made them collide until the right ones fell into line. To get something unpredictable, you feel unbelievable.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.